Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Cosmos 2, where we are playing Chaco. 58 turns. I'm still not used to this intro. Let's jump into it. Alright, we have received one Earth Gem from Arythia. This was just off of a random one-off conversation where Arythia contacted me, and it was basically touching base to see what I was interested in, and then they were like, hey, I have an Earth Gem, you can have it. Cool. Thanks. Did a bunch of site searching. Actually, really not that much site searching, comparatively. Unfortunately, also with the fact that it wasn't much site searching, it also accomplished basically nothing. So that's, big oof. We're very close, though, to being done. I think Haruspecs, this might be the last round of Haruspecs that we end up having to do. Auspecs and Augury still have a little bit to go. Gnome Lore still has a little bit to go, I believe. Dark Knowledge has a long way to go, but we'll see how that goes. That's just kind of like a crapshoot, hoping we can eventually get something. I'm actually really surprised, in fairness, that we have... we're still stuck at 3 Death Gems. We have been just non-existent as far as Death Gems go. It's kind of interesting. You know, this game is weird. Not this game specifically, but Dominions 5. It can be very strange at how, you know, you assume everything kind of, like, works out to an average. But I've had games where, like, you know, I'll get, like, 25 nature gems and 20 other gems, and I'll get, like, 8 astral pearls or 8 fire gems or something like that as, like, income, you know? So it can be a little strange, especially... the further you take the magic site frequency down. So I believe we're at 55 in this game, and it really shows. Like, for me, it really shows anyway. So, we have a couple of battles. We have a battle in Faldenberg. See how these work out. Okay, so we have Wuya here at the ready. Wuya 2 attacking into basically nothing. Sorry, I did not mean to quit that. Meant to speed it up. Basically nothing, so, you know. Meditation, Iron Skin, Strength of Gaia, Summoner's Power. I accidentally have Temper Flesh on here instead of Temper Armor, but it doesn't matter. We fixed it for next time, and it's just, you know, immediately done. So, there's that. We've taken control of the province of Old Man. There's no resistance there, so we didn't bump Kangobia, and we also, you know, there's no province defense or anything like that from Old Man that they've re-put back up, so that's good to know. We have a battle in Blue Moss Forest. This is our Wuya and Monketsina, and we are up against, apparently enough, because we cast Foul Vapors, and it's actually just a very... This kind of... I don't know about this. Like, I consider this somewhat sus that the game would think, oh, we need to cast Foul Vapors for this. And whatever, though. We cast Poison Ward. Interestingly, as we are casting Poison Ward, I believe this Monketsina takes a tick of poison. Yep. So is poisoned. And starts to take some damage. Turn on the squares, we can see the damage tick up there. Right? But it's not enough for it to matter, basically. Guys are very easily defeated, obviously. Yeah. Cool. So we win in Blue Moss Forest, but we also kind of like show our hand there. That being said, if we look down here, we can see the entrance to the fortification in Old Man is breached. So I care less, right, that we've showed our hand, because hopefully, now that we've hit Faldenberg and Blue Moss Forest, hopefully we're going to be able to just take Old Man. And there's going to be stuff in Old Man, but I am hoping that there's not that much left there. We know there's a Demi-Lich. right? So there's always that, but I'm hopeful that what we have put together is going to be able to kill whatever remains in Old Man without too much issue. That's the hope. There is also a battle in Numecria between Satis and Early Man? Is that who it is? Marverni. No, there we go. Early Man. Early Man! So, Satis is over here with 1 billion fucking chariots. Like, damn, that's a lot of chariots. And these guys are pretty cool, right? They are tramplers. They have multiple attacks. I don't know. They're a cool unit. He's got a lot of them. And he's also got a fair amount of mages here. He's got a bunch of poison slingers. A number of... Actually, maybe he doesn't have that many. Well... Yeah, he's got a couple of these Sauromancers here. And they're kind of the big deal. Tombworm. Interesting. He's got some... Jade Sorceresses, he's got some Lizard Shamans, etc. And he's up against the remnants of Marverni. With Marverni's god. Okay? So we're just gonna watch what happens. Okay. Front lines are rushing into the breach. There's a couple of Spring Hawks. Not Spring Hawks. These are just Black Hawks. My bad. That are going to fly out. A Howl comes out from the side of Satis, so we'll throw squares up so that we can see. A bunch of Will-O-Wisps got thrown in the mix, so that's interesting. And then this is kind of like the big thing. Rigor Mortis gets cast by the side of Satis. Which, I don't know. I don't know if Rigor Mortis really helped or actually ended up hurting here. So eventually, the side of Marverni ends up, fatiguing out because of the Rigor Mortis. So all of these, like, Sequani Stargazers and everything like that, they fatigue out. And these priests are slowly but surely fatiguing out as well, right? The army breaks. The god fatigues out. Bob Barking Mad Barker fatigues out, right? But at the same time, you got to think about this, right? Lizard Kings fatigue out. The Shamans fatigue out. The Sauromancers fatigue out, right? Ooh, he has the Heartstone. Autospell Will-O-Wisps. Interesting. So this is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like, in theory, everything should be fine because his Tomb Chariots are undead. They won't fatigue out. They'll kill off all of the remaining enemies. And that is kind of what happens, right? Excepting that... My goodness. Gets in. Gets through all these Stargazers. And then he gets on the god. And you can see, holy shit. Alright, so the god does not have crazy high protection. But the god somehow... I'm not even sure how. The god has... 52% regeneration. So he doesn't have regeneration as a bless, okay? He has a ring of regeneration. I'm assuming the dragon maybe has some regeneration inherently, but even if the dragon, like if the dragon had 10 regeneration and then had a ring of regeneration, that would be 20. And then if he did like Gaia's blessing, that would be, I have no, basically my point is I have no idea how this guy gets 52% regeneration with what's going on here. I guess maybe I just need to... Can't you, I just need to look at his stuff. See what he did. Well, it doesn't tell me what he cast, right? That's part of the problem. It just shows, like, damage rolls and things like that. So, that's kind of unfortunate. I guess I can, like, rewatch and see what he puts on himself. But the scenario here is that this dragon regenerates way too much health to ever go down. This is insane, right? Not to, like, these chariots, right? They just don't... They don't hit hard enough for that. It's just not possible. So with that, and with his Sauromancers being kind of like out of commission, with his mages being kind of out of commission, I guess not all of them are. Where are these Sauromancers? How are these Sauromancers still moving? Like, they're fully fatigued. Like, what? Okay, so they're basically just barely making it, because they both have reinvigoration. Interesting. Okay, and now his regeneration is down somewhat? It's because he's taken a never healing wound, so his HP has been reduced. Gotcha. Alright, well... This is a thing, right? And eventually, there's so many will-o-wisps here, by the way. I think... Well, I guess this has to be from this, the auto spell Will of the Wisp. So this is actually a really cool magic item. This is a unique. I think that is one. I don't know if that's a DE thing or if it's a Bosmos thing, but they basically add uniques to the other tiers rather than just tier 8. And this is a really cool one. Very interesting. Because will-o'-the-wisps are neat. They're not super overpowered, but they're very neat. And having kind of like a howl effect with them is kind of cool. Oof. My goodness. Holy shit. How long is this gonna go? Alright, there it is. Okay. Nucitus routes, and you can see the undead start to pop. And shortly after the undead begin to pop, right, here's going to be the problem. Well, I think here's going to be the problem. Now, it's going to come down to, like, who gets the fuck off the field first. And I think... This is going to take another, like, 50,000 years. Shem? It's this guy. Right, so this guy has 147. Ooh, this hurts. So in theory, this guy will hit... first. Nope. Not if he gets tagged by Rigor Mortis repeatedly. So that guy made it out. Oifa doifa. Alright, I don't want to sit here and watch this anymore. I actually didn't watch this all the way through the last time. But it basically boils down to if the dragon unfatigues before everything else is off the field, then Marverni is going to lose because the dragon will insta-die, so. Dragon died. So Marverni lost everything in that battle. Satis almost lost everything, but New Satis is huge and has reinforcements in the area, so this was a pretty resounding victory for New Satis. I'm not sure if the rigor mortis helped or hurt in that particular battle, truth be told. Rigor mortis is such a weird kind of like double-edged sword depending on who is using it, right? Like, it's very interesting. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of that. Let us head back on over. Worldwide event has occurred. Magic +3. And units horror marked. Great. Got some unexpected events. Death in Assad. There's a cult there. I know there's a cult there. I need to go deal with it. I'm just really focused on trying to deal with Kangobia. Jereb is losing children in the night. That's not great. And, war has broken out among the lords of the land. There's a great turmoil, and a large part of the population has been killed or fled. Huge amount of unrest in Finnica. I say huge. A little bit of unrest in Finnica, but losing 2,140 population, and then 2,890 population also leaving. This was one of my best provinces. No longer one of my best provinces. The only silver lining there is that a portion of those people that migrated did migrate to our capital. So that's silver lining, you know? Alright, all the rest of this is relatively unimportant except for Old Man has been breached. So what are we doing? We are sending Elder 5 back to Assad to kind of pick things up. We are sending our new Wuya 18, which is another water variety, off to High Peaks, sending in Crystal Sorceress 13 and 14 to High Peaks as well, doing a whole bunch of site searching, remote site searching, sending another Sorceress off towards the battlefront, and then you can see we actually have a whole bunch of movements. So, let's talk about them. We don't want to just wait in the wings, right? Now that we are moving, we want to be moving. We want to be harassing. We want to be causing issues. Part of what we're going to be utilizing to do that with are winged shoes. So that's going to hopefully be helpful for us. We are going to be jumping Wuya 2 over to Ossuary. And we are going to be jumping Wuya 17 over to Ukrema. Now, we're not really interested in holding down Faldenberg or Blue Moss Forest tightly, right? Against any real assault, we want to basically melt away. So we're going to have our Scout 17 siege in Blue Moss Forest, and we're actually going to have Scout 3 move up to Faldenberg and do the same. They're both set to retreat. Hopefully they will have places to retreat to, if at all possible, and we'll keep them. If not, they're scouts. They're doing their job, right? And fingers crossed. We're also going to jump Mong 6 onto Takregus, and hopefully that goes well. Mong 6 earned themselves a limp, which is very unfortunate, but should be fine, hopefully. Wuya 9, we're actually pulling back to Grifa to restock with personal gems. They have 2 right now. Actually, you know what? I should do this. I should pull that over, give that to that. And then we are also jumping Mong 9 over to Underdark. We're also attacking the Iron Caverns with Mong 7, and he has a set of magic resistance gear. I'm hoping that the magic resistance gear, and he's going to cast Iron Will at the very beginning of the fight. I'm hoping that's going to keep him from getting Soul Slayed. And then I think, you know, with buffs with Iron Skin, he has a Kithrionic Lion Pelt for higher protection. So, with Iron Skin, with, you know, I think he's doing Temper Armor. Iron Skin, Personal Regeneration, Prayer of Earth. That's fun. And he's doing a bless, right? The hope is that we'll be able to kill. It's just a little horror. It's one of those, I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the squids, and they have a whole bunch of attacks, and the attacks are armor piercing, but they're relatively low damage, if I remember correctly, and they don't have a crazy amount of HP, and I think those tentacles are relatively short ranged, so we've got a stone bird on there. Basically, I'm hoping we can survive the Soul Slay, and then through a combination of repels, vine shields, frost brands, and stone birds, I'm hoping we can take him down. If not, well, then, you know, that's my bad. You know what? Maybe actually we send 2. Totally do that. Iron Will, Meditation. Well, no. Guy doesn't have magic resistance gear, so that's not going to work out. Well, we will believe. We will believe in him. Right, and then up here we are storming the castle. So everyone up here except for Mong 9 and Scout 3 are storming the castle. I'm not gonna bother leaving anyone like on the top of the castle. Like outside, I don't see the point. Old man's not trying to get out, right? And if this assault fails, well, then, you know, we got massively different problems. So that's not really a top priority for me. We haven't really changed anything, excepting that we are turning off Flaming Arrows from Sorceress 8. I think Flaming Arrows is probably not worthwhile in this type of instance. I think it was potentially fine when we thought we might have to go up against King Gobia to take Old Man, but since it looks like we're hopefully going to be able to take it without interference, then I think Flaming Arrows is just an opportunity to do more damage to our own people, you know? So yeah, we're going to avoid that. Research-wise, we're doing... I mean, where we are at on the turn, we are not great. Or where we are at in the game, we are not great. But where we are at compared to where we have been is we're doing pretty good. We have an entire army here worth of research that had dropped us like 300 points, but we've almost made that back up in Lightless Lanterns, so that's really good. We're gonna finish Enchantment 6 or 7 this turn, which is going to give us a couple of important things. Most importantly, currently, is going to be Serpent's Blessing, so that we can put that into all of our armies. Serpent Blessing, Foul Vapors is going to be a very strong combination for us, or a good combination for us, basically. A couple of other options we can do. We'll now have access to Solar Brilliance, which is a very good defensive tool from an undead perspective. We also have access to Mass Flight, which I think is an incredibly useful spell, but it's only really good in the right situations. So we have to be very careful utilizing it, but it is absolutely something we can make use of with our Communions, with our Crystal Sorceresses, with our Adepts of the Silver Order, etc. Inferno Warriors is interesting. I think this is a DE spell. It basically puts like the Flaming Arrows buff, but on melee, right? I think that's really, really cool, and I really, really am interested in playing around with it. But we don't have good casters for this. I could see in the future us being able to use this, because 9 AP fire damage is okay. It's pretty good, right? I say pretty good. It's very good. It's very nice, right? So I'm interested in being able to make use of this later on in. I just don't think, like, when I say later on in the game, I mean like getting Flame Spirits or getting Yayapanzas, right? Will let us utilize this quite a bit. Otherwise, we don't have easy options to utilize this. So yeah. And yeah, obviously there are other things, but those are the main things that we can make use of. So interested to see how those go. And then after that, we're going to do the run-up alteration. We won't make it to alteration 5 in this turn, but we will get very, very close. Alteration 5 is going to give us a couple of things, primarily things like wooden warriors or iron warriors, right? Maws of the earth can be very useful in the right situations. There are a couple of other odd, interesting things in here. But really, this is a means to an end to get down to Alt 6 and Alt 7. Alt 6 gets us a couple of different things. Namely, it gets us Vision Trance, so we can try to start messing around with Povosquas and see if those are actually more interesting to us. I think they're gonna be, right? We can do some other interesting things like Transformation or Army of Giants, which can be pretty useful. There's some good water spells in this area that are relatively useful. Etc. And then the Alteration 7 is up there for, I would say Mass Protection, but really, since we have such high nature, Gaia's Warding, right? So Gaia's Warding is Mass Protection plus, it's Mass Protection plus Mass Regeneration, so it's, why not? Just go ahead and do that. Creeping Doom is also a very useful spell for the right situations. Doom is a very useful spell for the right situations. Ether Warp, I do not know a lot about. It makes you ethereal, but it also horror marks you. I don't think that's super awesome. But there's some other really good stuff in here, like Fog Warriors, which we'll be able to make use of, etc. Windwalkers. Like a weird Fog Warriors. They're like a Fog War. It looks like it's Fog Warrior Light. Yeah, actually, it looks like it's Fog Warrior Light. Oh, it's Fog Warrior Light and flying. Huh. Interesting. Weird. EE has some really weird spells in them. Or in it. Alteration 6 will also have us poised to get into some of the more important things, like obviously Army of Lead, Army of Gold, but also into things like Warriors of Muspelheim or Warriors of Nibelheim as defensive buffs. So, Will of the Fates, right? Very awesome. That's gonna be the plan. I think that's mostly it, y'all. We're not doing anything crazy with our forging. Everything's normal. We're forging more thug gear, and we're forging more lightless lanterns. That's going to be pretty typical over the course of the next several turns, I would say. Alright, so that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, everybody.